a lot of that stuff, like there are forces at work that, like, I'll be honest, we don't know what's going on, and you can trust those, but you can only trust them in the sense that they have to be whole still. They have to be something that's like cool, that is not going to harm you. Something that's like awesome, that like just there are so many things that we don't know of what's going on in the world and what's going on with ourselves and energy and everything taking place, that there are probably things that we can't know of that we might get attached to on this other side, that are like, ooh, this elated experience or whatever. And that's probably where a lot of things like drug addictions or whatever come from. It's like some state, this isn't a wholesome practice if you're just doing it out of like a coping mechanism or whatever and heading towards it. And then you get all these elusive, like cool, unfathomable things, and you try and bring that into the world or whatever else it is. Even if you don't try to, you will probably, like unintentionally, whatever it is. And it's not going to be on that wholesome path. Like, it's not something that you really can trust if you come back and you have ideas or thoughts or anything that you've developed from there, because there are forces at work that are deceptive. Like, we don't know what's going on in all these other realms, if there are any. Like, there's so many things that we humans don't have the capacity to understand. But one thing is true, is that you can always trust goodness. So trust the goodness, and that's the majority of what's going on in the universe all the time. Even among like people, you find the worst person, there's still some goodness in them, and that goodness will come out if they're surrounded by goodness. It cannot come out. It will always come out. And just stay with goodness, move with goodness entirely, and trust goodness to take you even further than you could possibly imagine and could possibly fathom. And yeah.
I kind of got a little lost with some of the... I mean, I get what you're saying with the goodness, but some of what you're saying with...
things like, I suppose, put it like simply, like somebody has a nightmare or a bad drug trip.
Yeah.
Or is constantly imagining terrible things.
Yeah.
Like they just have, like, they're just constantly visualizing like morbid details, whatever else it is. That's not stuff to take into the world.
No.
It's unfathomable. You don't need to contemplate it. It's like you just have problems, your reactive state, and it's reacting to these things, and et cetera, et cetera. It's like that is forces at work that you don't understand. You're not doing it out of wholesomeness. When you're not in a state, when, again, the state is the most important thing. If you're not in a state of like, I'm doing this for good, for any good at all, and this is not like nothing that is taking place, like I'm not in a state of good and it's not good stuff, that is not stuff to bother contemplating. It's the same as like, oh, I have pain in my foot. You don't have to analyze the pain. You have pain in your foot. Either like learn to be balanced with it, or move your foot around and see if there's anything actually wrong, etc. Like, you go from there. You don't contemplate the pain in your foot. This foot sucks. Like going to it that way. So those are the things a thing to watch for and a thing to trust.
Yeah.
At least that's some loose advice, but I'm pretty sure everybody would, be kind to your neighbor. Don't be a dick. That's
well.
And then the same applies to things that are like mind blowing.
Yeah.